Howdy everybody, this is Bake with IronThroneCraft.com. Today we're going to talk about the new version 3.3 expanded Lord skills and what you should do specifically for your combat Lord skills. It's a little bit harder to fill these in now because nobody has enough points. Even on the baby account where I'm level 92 Lord, I don't have enough points to fill in all the stuff that I need. This is from the Bake account, which is level 72 Lord, so I have a lot less skills. And as you can see, the majority of this skill tree, the majority of the points are all spent on prerequisites to get to the later tiles. And the reason for that is because those later tiles further back in the tree, you see right here is where I start filling stuff in because that gives 40% debuff. And those later tiles further back in the tree give just a lot more. So this Archer Attack 2, Cavalry Attack 2, Infantry Attack 2, those ones give 60%. The previous ones only give 30%. So you get twice the value for the points that you use later on in the tree. And you see this is where I stop. I run out of points here. And what you need to do is you need to look at your Lord level and how many points you have and figure out how deep into the tree you can get. Because it's better for you to get way back into the tree, and like that Siege HP debuff, you don't want that. But Troop HP increase right there, that one gives 30% Troop HP way back in the tree though. And so, for example, for that Troop HP increase, you have to have 380 skill points to fill that in, without filling any of the prereqs in at all. That means you have to be level 77 Lord to even get to that second Troop HP, or that Troop HP all the way back there. So because of that, you want to figure out how far you can get. And a good point to look at that'll be more achievable by a lot more people is this Troop Defense tile right here. The 15 out of 15 right there, I just scrolled past it. That Troop Defense, you only have to be level 56 to fill in with no prereqs. So that one is a good one to target there, and then that opens up enemy troop attack debuff 2 right there, and enemy troop defense debuff, which are both big important tiles. So this is my siege preset. That was my siege preset. I'm resetting it now, and what I'm going to show you now is how to fill it in. This is an example of filling it in for infantry, if you're focusing on infantry, like if you're going to solo type trap, or if you're going to be attacking with infantry. This is for defense. Attacking will be a little bit different. You're going to want to fill in some deploy skills and stuff like that. But the basics of it is you're going to fill in all of these prerequisites, and you're going to get all the way back to where the bigger, better tiles are. So you'll see that I'm going through and I'm filling in these prereqs, but you also need to be aware of your Lord level and aware of how far you can get. So I know I can basically get to that troop defense and that troop attack debuff tile. I know that's about as far as I can get. So what I do is I'm going to fill in all the prereqs all the way to those points, and then I'm going to fill those two tiles up. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to fill in my important prerequisites that I skipped over. So you see infantry HP. Even though I'm running, this is for an infantry defense preset, I didn't fill it all the way in because I want to get all the way back and fill in my important ones. Then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to fill in the less important ones with my extra points, knowing that I cannot get further in the tree. So for an infantry, the reason I'm doing this is because single type traps, single type trapping, and single type defense are going to be a lot more prevalent now and very good. We saw some people running in Blood Moon that did really, really well. And so what I'm showing you with this is if you were trying to set up an infantry trap, this is how you'd want to do it if you were at like a mid-50s Lord level, or, up to 72, I believe is what I am right now. And so filling this in, all the prerequisites, but the reason that you can do solo type trapping now is because of all the leverage debuffs. So you see, because this is an infantry one, I'm going to fill in the Archer Attack debuff. And I'm going to fill that all the way in just a second. I'll come back to it and fill it the rest of the way in. But right now what I'm doing is I'm scrolling ahead and I'm making sure I have enough points to fill in what I need here. So I'm going to fill in the Siege Attack debuff, but if somebody sends Siege at me, then I'm not really concerned about the Attack debuff because they will be losing. But here's where it gets important. See, I fill in Infantry Attack 2, and then I've got Archer's Leveraged Attack Decrease 1. And that is basically the most important skill. That's why I'm filling in 15 points there. I can drop their leverage by 10%, which is one of the reasons that solo type trapping was dangerous in the past. But now with building enhancers and with leverage debuff research and with leverage debuff Lord skills, all the way at the end of the tree, if you're a higher level Lord, if you're like up over, I believe it's 85, something like that, you can get to the leverage debuffs that are a lot more. And those are a big deal. But here's troop defense. This is the bread and butter that I was trying to get to. So I'm going to fill that all the way in, go up to 15, take my 30% bonus, and then this enemy troop attack debuff 2 right here and enemy troop defense debuff are both big. That attack debuff drops 80% attack. So as you can see, it's a lot better than the first one. The first one only drops 30%. So it's a much bigger deal to fill that in. But now I've got my important ones filled in as far as I can get, and I'm going to go back in, I'm going to fill in my other important ones. So like Archer Attack debuff, I only used it as a prereq before, but now I'm going to fill it the rest of the way in because I know I can't get to troop HP. So I'm just going to fill this all in. So these debuffs, they don't give that many points, but I actually am going to end up, or many stats, but I am going to end up filling them in. So I fill in the rest of my infantry skills and make sure that I've got all the attack, HP, and defense for infantry that I can get with the points that I have. And that is the bread and butter for doing your Lord skills now, is you want to figure out how far into the tree you can get, and then you want to get the best usage out of your points that you can, which means filling in these big tiles. So you see I took troop defense debuff all the way to full, got 80% because that makes my preemptive strike do a little bit more damage. But what I was getting at earlier with the single type traps, we're going to show you some videos later on this week and into next week. Been doing a lot of testing on the single type traps and everything else like that. And with these Lord skills, if you set your Lord skills correctly and you set your building enhancers correctly, a single type trap can be extremely viable now, especially with some of the new gear and everything else like that. Now, for an infantry set, it's kind of weird that I did enemy infantry attack debuff, but the reason for that is because I had these points. These debuffs are kind of less important, but I did the enemy infantry attack debuff anyways because the two types that I'm worried about getting sent at me are archers. So I debuff as much as possible on the archers, and then infantry also can do some damage to me because of the affinity research. And so because of that, that's why I filled in the infantry attack debuff and the archer attack debuff. If they send cav at me, they're screwed. This troop attack tile is actually huge, and I skipped it. So I'm going to go back in, redo those skills, and fill in 5 points into that troop attack tile because those 5 points give 20% troop attack, which is pretty good. Probably going to be debuffed if you get hit by Majestic, but it is what it is. You need to try to get your stats as high as possible. So anyways, if you are picking one type, you need to focus on stats for that type, and you need to focus on debuffs for the leverage type. And so this applies to trapping. This applies to if you're attacking, you're going to do that, and you're going to swap some of your debuffs out, like your attack debuffs, you're going to swap some of those out for deployable troop size, is what you do there. If you're going into ADM, if you want an Alliance Deathmatch skill set, then you want to split it up a little bit. You want to basically make one type as strong as possible, though. But those enemy troop attack debuff 2 and enemy troop defense debuff 2, those big tiles like that reduce all the stats for all the troops, those are the most important for ADM. So feel free to comment, ask any questions, make some comments on what you'd like to see. Give me a like, give me a follow. Thanks for watching.